I have a question. So, why do most churches not talk about mental health problems, even though it's like mentioned a lot in the Bible?
Why don't most churches talk about mental health problems? That's a delicate subject, I think, for many, and there's a lot of subjects that most churches don't talk about. You're right, that maybe they should. So I can't tell you why, other than maybe pastors feel they're not qualified to talk about it. However, I will say this, many bigger churches have counseling centers which can address that issue on a case-by-case basis. But we probably ought to talk more about issues like that, especially in our culture today, because mental illness is rising. And I think part of the reason is because we are completely stressed out by social media. In fact, Jonathan Haidt, who is not a Christian, teaches at NYU, I think he's a psychologist, wrote a book a couple of years ago called Anxious Generation. And he basically points out that this thing right here, particularly for kids, but also adults, is driving us to anxiety. And he said, I would never give this to any of my kids because it's making them anxious. They can't deal with what comes across it. Of course, there's a lot of evil that comes across it as well. They can't process all the information, and it's creating trouble. Now, if you're a parent here right now, you're probably thinking, gee, if I ever took this away from my 13-year-old, it would be World War III. My question is, what's your point? Is parenting supposed to be convenient? Of course it's going to be World War III, but do you care more about your kids than your own peace? Yeah, you're going to have to take drastic action because this thing is driving many people crazy, and it's driving people to get their identity from how many likes they get on Instagram.